Well, good morning. Welcome to lesson 199. I'm not a body, I'm free. And this is one of those lessons that throughout the years I've found myself just reciting the heading over and over in times of trials and tribulation to try and get that idea to really drop in. And it's one thing to have an experience of self, but the mind training that allows you to ground that experience and to bring that experience into a tangible and useful kind of framework for living as it is in this world is really important, and something that is ongoing. And you get to a kind of a certain point in your own transition, in your own mind training, where you realize that it's sort of happening by itself. And it's kind of nice. It's like there's a whole shift that occurs and you suddenly have these aha moments and you realize that you're applying the lessons or applying the principles in your own thinking without even having to stop and pull yourself up to do that. So this lesson, I'm not a body, I'm free. When we get to I think it's the last 5 lessons, 260 to 265, or actually it might be just the lessons just before those. There's a repetition to that. I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me. And it's not really a mantra, but there's something that happens when you recite, let's say, when you focus on and you're mentally focused on a single thought. After a while, after a minute or so, you'll realize that you kind of drop into this, I don't know what you'd call it. Oh gosh, another frame of reference in your mind, another experience, another compartment is probably better in your own consciousness. And I had a very cool experience with this when I was at the Healing Center with my teacher Ted, and I can't remember what I was worried about because it's been healed, but which is the good part of this. But I was concerned about something or worried about something, and I was sitting off to the side of the room waiting to play the music. I used to do the music for the meditation after the discourse, and I was sitting off to the side of the room thinking about whatever it was that was going on in my mind, and then I just heard Jesus speak to me. Just heard this man's voice say to me, "There's nothing to worry about." And for some reason, I just knew that I had to recite that over and over and over 100 times in my mind to actually hear it, to actually get it. So I sat there for a few minutes with my eyes closed and tried to keep track of my recitations. And I would sit there and say, "There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about." Just like when you're doing on your mala beads or your japa beads, your mantras, if you're a bit of a Buddhist, or if you're indeed using beads for doing that kind of thing, and they are kind of helpful in a temporary way in mind training, but don't let it become a ritual. But I think I got to about 60 or 70 recitations of that. There's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about. And then there was a moment of me hearing that there's nothing to worry about. And I don't know how to explain that, but I heard myself say it. It's as if all the other recitations, 59 recitations, were just there's nothing to worry about, nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about, and it's just lip service. And then, boom, it got in. All of a sudden there was this, boom, dropping into an awareness of the fact that there's nothing to worry about. So it's where nothing to worry about as a concept met nothing to worry about as my aha moment. I don't know if that makes sense, but I remember Sigmund Freud used to say, to change a bad habit, you have to try doing something else 25 times before you'll drop in, or before that habit will shift. And I don't know where he gets 25 times, but we might argue with Sigmund. Anyway, we'll do this lesson. I hope that's helpful. It's just one of those things that just as soon as I read that, that's what popped up for me in my own transformation. I'm like, wow, that. I remember that being a really powerful kind of moment, a real transition moment where something changed, not only in that I heard what I was saying, but And you have to teach this to learn it, right? So this whole course, this whole thing, how you do that's up to you, through poetry, art, through formal teaching perhaps like this, or whatever. But as you teach it, you learn it. As you give it away, you receive. Okay? And that's just really giving from the heart. So we'll read the lesson. I'm not a body, I'm free. Freedom must be impossible as long as you perceive a body as yourself. The body is a limit. Who would seek for freedom in a body looks for it where it cannot be found. The mind can be made free when it no longer sees itself as in a body, firmly tied to it and sheltered by its presence. If this were the truth, the mind were vulnerable indeed. The mind that serves, listen to this, ready? This is a classic. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited forever, in all ways, beyond the laws of time and space, unbound by any preconceptions, and with strength and power to do whatever it is asked. Okay? And one of the things that happens in this, or that you realize in this, is that nothing could possibly be asked of you unless there was an opportunity for a miraculous moment within that asking, which would show you that you have no limitation, which would show you that you are supported by the power of God. Okay? So nothing could possibly be asked of you at all. And it's the same thing when you find yourself in a relationship with someone. You wouldn't be in a relationship with someone if there weren't anything there for you to learn for yourself. Don't worry about trying to change other people. Don't worry about trying to get other people to hear A Course in Miracles. Don't worry about trying to indoctrinate others, because there are no others. The others are merely opportunities for you to teach this, for you to offer the idea of wholeness, the idea of love, through seeing beyond the illusion of the story and the form presented to the recognition of the Christ, or the Buddha within, or the Krishna within, wherever you're at with all of that stuff, to that perfection. And so receive it back yourself as your own witness to that in you. And the opportunities for that are endless, which is why this is a course in joining. This is a collaborative venture. It does no good to lock yourself away on a hillside for 10 years and study and meditate and do all that stuff. It's far better to get out and amongst it, have relationships, get involved, and allow your buttons to be pushed and your triggers to be activated, because that's going to show you where the necessity for healing is in your own mind, not someone else. There's no narcissist, and there's no bully, and there's no jealous person, and there's no greedy person, there's no controlling freak or whatever out there. It's always in here. So whatever the reflection you get, it's like, all right, let me take that on board. It's like, as above, so below. I'm one with all things. As above, so below. Yep, I'm one with the narcissist, I'm one with the jealous person, I'm one with the greedy person, I'm one with the loving person, I'm one with the joyous person. I'm one with what I see, because it's only my mind telling me what it is that I think I'm seeing. Right? Which is nothing more than an opportunity to go beyond the perception or the vision that we seem to think we have with our eyes to the vision that's given by Christ. I'll read that little bit again. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited forever in all ways, beyond the laws of time and space, unbound by any preconceptions, and with strength and power to do whatever it is asked. And there's so much in even just one sentence. Like, it's just so, Attack thoughts cannot enter such a mind, because it has been given to the source of love. And fear can never enter into a mind that has attached itself to love. It rests in God, and who can be afraid who lives in innocence and only loves? It is essential for your progress in this course. Ready? It is essential for your progress in this course that you accept today's idea and hold it very dear. Be not concerned that to the ego it is quite insane. The ego holds the body dear because it dwells in it and lives united with the home that it has made. It is a part of the illusion that has sheltered it from being found illusory itself. Right, the jig is up. Here does it hide, and here it can be seen as what it is. Declare your innocence and you are free. The body disappears because you have no need of it except the need the Holy Spirit sees. For this, the body will appear as useful form for what the mind must do. All right? There is a doing to this. It thus becomes a vehicle which helps forgiveness be extended to the all-inclusive goal that it must reach according to God's plan. Cherish today's idea and practice it today and every day. Make it a part of every practice period you take. There is no thought that will not gain thereby in power to help the world, and none which will not gain in added gifts to you as well. We sound the call of freedom around the world with this idea. And would you be exempt from the acceptance of the gifts you give? The Holy Spirit is the home of minds that seek for freedom. In Him they find what they have sought. The body's purpose now is unambiguous, and it becomes perfect in the ability to serve an undivided goal. In conflict-free and unequivocal response to mind, with but the thought of freedom as its goal, the body serves and serves its purpose well. Without the power to enslave, it is a worthy servant of the freedom which the mind within the Holy Spirit seeks. Be free today and carry freedom as your gift to those who still believe they are enslaved within a body. Be you free so that the Holy Spirit can make use of your escape from bondage to set free the many who perceive themselves as bound and helpless and afraid. Let love replace their fears through you. Accept salvation now and give your mind to Him who calls to you to make this gift to Him. For He would give you perfect freedom, perfect joy, and hope that finds its full accomplishment in God. You are God's Son. In immortality you live forever. Would you not return your mind to this? Then practice well the thought the Holy Spirit gives you for today. Your brothers stand released with you in it. The world is blessed along with you. God's Son will weep no more, and heaven offers thanks at the increase of joy your practice brings even to it. And God Himself extends His love and happiness each time you say, each time you say, I am not a body, I am free. I hear the voice that God has given me, and it is only this my mind obeys. And I just want to clarify there. Just earlier in that lesson, I was saying that, like, keep your finger here on your nose, because there's not someone else that needs to hear this. There's not someone else you need to teach or whatever. And it's like, healing is shared. When it's healed in me, it's automatically healed out there. I automatically release out there. So in that, I'm not really saying that there's no one else out there that's not going to need healing or whatever, but it's done through accepting my atonement for myself, not by running out there and trying to fix everyone and everything. But, the extension of the light of God that occurs because let's say my script or my story previous to salvation has been an interactive, collaborative venture in denial, where I didn't know that I had an ego, didn't know what the ego's purpose was, and didn't know what I was really about or anything. I've been seeking witnesses and gathering witnesses to that ignorance, right, and binding those witnesses to that ignorance. Now it's up to me to set free, and everything's just light, just energy, if you want to look at it that way for a second. Now it's up to me to set free the images and the cast and the crew of my dreaming by changing my mind about the story about myself, so that in the release of the old identity and the relinquishment, the forgetting of the old identity, I go forth as something new, something reborn, to represent that to the world, which will automatically transfer and awaken that healing or that truth in my brother. Automatically. Okay? Because what I see is only a reflection of my own thinking anyway. I know that's kind of hard to grasp, but we're all one. There's only one mind, and when one mind awakes, all minds awake in that one mind's dream. And I'm not saying my one mind is separate from your mind. I'm saying one mind as in the whole mind. Okay? So we're looking at an idea of awakening. We're looking at a process that brings enough tangible evidence that we can collaborate it and corroborate it in our own association to actually prove to ourselves that something's going on in relationship to us doing this course. Right? We're going through changes. And you'll see those changes within yourself and also externally in your own relationships. And I've had so many people that have written to me and told me, I practiced forgiveness in this particular relationship or that particular situation. And the next thing you know, my brother, my wife, my whatever, something changed and that whole thing's now harmonious. It has to be a miracle. Anyway, that's it. Tomorrow we'll do lesson 200. There's no peace except the peace of God. And I'll see you then. Peace.